Sean, how you doing, brother?
Peter, I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Good, man. Welcome to my El Salvadorian studio here. Usually, people are in my little office in Bedford. Have you heard of Bedford? Do you know Bedford?
I don't
We're in
know much.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, I'm curious. You have to tell me more.
It's the Bitcoin mecca of the world. It's the center of Bitcoin media in the world,
Really?
and it's not far from London. You don't
Okay.
know it?
No, I've heard of it. I just, I don't know much. You know, I've heard of Miami and how that's kind of been the new Silicon Valley of Bitcoin, but obviously that's just in America. So I'm sure there's
Yeah,
different.
Miami copied Bedford. It's trying to be like Bedford, but um, it's we started this before Miami. We were owning this. What the fuck going on? Hey, listen, where I grew up in this shit little place. Like Bedford's a shit town, but I grew up in a shit suburb called Kempston. And we actually, at one point, this weird thing happened. Uh, I was like, I don't know, dude. How old are you?
I'm 27, man. I'm young.
You're a baby. All right. Well,
I
listen.
know. I know.
Probably before. No, definitely before you were born, because I was about 10 and I'm 42.
Okay.
Uh, we had these rugby posts appear on this field near where I live, where all the kids play football and golf and shit. And these rugby posts appeared. I was like, oh, we're gonna get a rugby team. We actually ended up getting like an American football team in
Really?
where I live in Kempston. Yeah, we got this. So I used to go down and watch it. I was like, what's this? What the fuck's this game? It's your game, man.
Can you go out there and play? Is it like open?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, not me.
You
No,
play
but we
sports?
have people who I used to before I got old as shit. I used to
Yeah.
play. And you know, I'm not gonna say your word for. I'm just gonna say football.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say fucking soccer because that pisses me off.
Yeah, football.
It's football. Football.
Football,
It's
football. It's football. It's
football and
football.
American football.
Football, man.
Okay, listen. I'm gonna tell you everything I know about your football, your egg chasing version of football.
Okay.
Uh, when I was a kid, we used to get on Channel 4. We used to get one game a week, one program a week, and 49ers were the big team.
Okay.
So I started
Yeah.
supporting them. That was back when it was uh, Jerry Rice was wide receiver.
Legend.
Yeah, it was Steve Young quarterback. It was just
Mhm.
after. Was it Joe Montana who was before him?
Oh, man. I'm gonna date myself. I'm young, man. It's I don't know. I don't wanna misspeak. I don't know. I don't know who the quarterback was. I know they're legends. I know that's good ball to watch. Good,
you're making
hell of a
me feel
playmakers
old
there.
now. Fucked up when I know more than you about these legends. No, so people are going to say it's not Joe Montana. It's like this dude. Anyway, that was it. That was my team. 49ers were my team. They won the Super Bowl, and then they didn't do shit for the rest of the time I've watched them. They haven't done shit.
Did you remain,
And
loyal?
I remain, yeah, but
Yeah?
do you know what I think? I think when Raiders go to Vegas, that's going to be my team.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. That whole move with, the increase in sports betting too should be interesting. I mean, gosh, I mean, when pandemic kinda slows down, I think that's gonna be popping.
If you get a chance, if you got a chance to play for the Raiders in Vegas, you take that, right?
You gonna be there?
God, man, like, well, my son wants to go. He's he's similar to your age. Fuck, I'm old. He's like, Dad, we gotta go. Have you seen the stadium? He said, we gotta go, and I'm like, yeah, I want to go, man. I want to go.
Yeah.
Listen, tell me a bit about you. Let's. I know you're a tight end. I don't know what the fuck that means. Is that
Okay. Yeah,
an
so we gotta go from
offensive,
the basics,
defensive, or
yeah.
is it both? Yeah, is that
So
offensive, defensive? Is it both?
yeah, no, so it is offensive. It's, kind of a
Offensive.
mixture of a wide receiver, so like Jerry Rice, and then a
Yeah.
lineman, one of the bigger guys, um, that's hand in the dirt blocking every single play. So it's a very fun, unique, and versatile position because you have to be fast enough to get open and create separation against defenders that are very athletic and fast, and at the same time have to put your hand in the dirt, 3rd and 1, and move a guy back 6 inches. And, he's 6'5", 300. Most tight ends are 6'5", 250. So you got to have, you got to be master of your craft. You have to have technique. You have to really hone in on the physics of moving mass, right? Hands inside, low man always wins, leverage. Because if you just come off the ball, hands outside. Just you're not going to be able to move guys that are significantly bigger than you. So it's a fun position. It's challenging, but I love it, man.
How big are you?
So I'm 6'5", 255.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'm 5'9". I'm 5'9", 210.
I think that'd be a okay moving you probably off the ball pretty easily.
You fucking reckon?
I think
I'll
so. I
fucking
mean,
take you.
I think we
I
should
can
get
take you.
together. Yeah, or we should
Dude,
put a line in the dirt, whistle to snap and see what happens.
I'm fucking quick, man.
Hey,
I'm quick.
you're
I think
quick?
you look one way, I look the other, and I'll be past you. Oh, no, or am I meant to stop you? Am I meant to stop you?
Well, it
Or am I meant
depends.
to get past you?
Are you more defensive or offensive?
I'm fucking glory, man. I'm
Your glory?
defensive.
Your
I wanna
glory?
win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, it'd be fun. I mean, it's a fun sport, man. Just being physical and flying around, making plays. I mean, it's something that I've played since I was in 5th grade. So I was
Mhm.
actually more of a basketball guy growing up. Everybody in my hometown was actually shocked to hear me announce that I was going to Missouri for football because basketball was just my passion. That's where I spent all my time. I was traveling every single weekend. I was on the Adidas team for the state of Florida and realized I wasn't going to be 6'11" or 7 foot. I
Hmm.
topped out at 6'5", and football was more conducive actually for my height because on my travel team, and we had like I think over 15 or 20 guys signed D1. I was the shortest player on the team.
Jesus.
So yeah, our starting lineup. I mean, maybe there were. I think our point guard was 6'3", so I had him beat by a little bit. But I mean, we were just
That's funny. Being 6'5" and feeling short.
yeah. No, it's crazy. I mean, if you see the game of basketball now, man, you're 6'5", you're a point guard. If you're 6'8", 6'9", 6'11", that's how tall you got to be, to be in the paint. So switched to football, started getting a lot more interest, and kind of had that mentality anyway to be physical and lift weights, put on weight. College coaches were already telling me I was big enough, and I wanted to get bigger and stronger and faster, and just felt like there was a good um, overlap too from playing basketball to the tight end position, and I had
Mhm.
success in that, in high school, college, and eventually the NFL. So it's a it's a sport that I'm continuing to learn and get better and challenge myself every day, and I'm blessed to keep to still be playing the game, man.
Do you know what? I tell you what I like about football, your football, and I really like about it because I spend a lot of time in the US. Right, there's no country in the world I've traveled to more. I've been like 60 times, traveled all over it. But I love the way like whatever level a team is, whether it's a college team or a school team or whatever, like the whole town comes out for them and everyone cares about that team. It's like that focal point for the
Hmm.
town or whatever. Like I really like that. And my
Yeah,
son had me watching that. Is it Last Chance You?
yeah. The
That's,
community, yeah, very inspiring stories.
mm,
Watching that documentary, I've seen it. It's actually one of my teammates came from the college from Last Chance U, from the Ravens this past year. So it's kind of cool to see.
were you like one of a number of people who just played football and did well at school and then college, or like, did you like be honest? Did you always know you're like I'm gonna be in the NFL? Did you know?
When I decided football would be my sport, not basketball, yes, I kind of adopted that mentality very quickly. I knew that had raw um, ability and the work ethic and the mentality to just continue to get 1% better every day. And I wouldn't settle for anything other than going to an NFL. Um, Obviously, I'm pretty pragmatic. Like during my collegiate career, I didn't have this glamorous career that just scoring all these touchdowns, so many yards, everybody just, oh, he's going to the NFL. I had 3 different offensive coordinators, 2 head coaches, 3 or 4 different position coaches in a span of 4 years. And so that was tough to kind of find my role on a consistent, um, year over year. So I was just grinding, man, actually. So I was just a grinder. I just did the right things. I was
Perfect.
accountable. I was reliable. I had this relentless work ethic, and just knew the opportunity would come, and you either capitalize on it or you don't. And there's your opportunity that came and went. So being undrafted, because I went undrafted, and that's difficult. Your margin of error is very low. You might have one, two, three different opportunities to really make a name for yourself, so coaches and scouts can give you a um, proper chance. And whereas some guys come in first, second, third round, they have a year or two, maybe three, to really prove themselves. So I definitely have been under the mentality that preparation will allow me to be successful when those opportunities come, and rise to the occasion and do your thing. And that's kind of how I am, going into year 5 right now.
Yeah, so help me understand that, because like I know what the draft is, right?
Yeah.
But when it's coming around, like how does it work? How do you find out whether you are going to be drafted, and if you're not, what happens because I'm sure there's a lot of people who are undrafted who don't get a contract. They don't get an opportunity. Like,
Yeah.
what's the difference? Is it like, are there people who are nearly drafted? Like, for me, how does someone like me understand this?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's crazy, honestly, man. It's because everyone is being told by their agents that they're going to get drafted, and everyone kind of is thinking that no matter what, worst case scenario, I'll go in the fifth or sixth or seventh round or seven rounds total. And when that third day comes and you're in the middle of the sixth, you start to get this, terrible feeling. Man, I don't think I'm getting my name called on TV. And obviously, in the seventh rounds, teams will start calling you. And that was the worst part. Some teams will call you and you think it's them saying, "Hey, we're going to select you in this round." And it's them saying, "Hey, if you're still available after the draft, we want you bad, man." So that's kind of a signal too that maybe you're not going to get drafted. So for me, I knew that there's a chance I would go undrafted. I was projected fifth to seventh, but also had some teams lined up that if I didn't get picked, these are probably my top. And because I was in that situation where I might have been drafted, I might have not, I had a lot of interest. So some guys, like you said, might not hear their name called and might not even get a call for an undrafted contract, or maybe they get a tryout from minicamp and pretty much just a camp body. And so for me, I had quite a bit of interest. So it was analogous to my recruiting experience in high school, condensed in an hour. So teams need to know they're trying to fill that spot, those roster spots. And so teams are saying, "Hey, we want you." And then another team's calling. And, so I have like two phones. My agent has one. My coach is in town. He has one. And we're just all just vetting, what's the best opportunity to make a team. And for me, I chose the Chargers because, for the same reason why I picked Missouri, I just felt I was valued there. I kind of felt they were the only team that flew me out for a visit, and you can only do that for 25 prospects. And they were the only team to fly to Columbia, Missouri for a private workout. So for me, that that meant a lot to me. So I went out to sunny San Diego, California, man. Never ever been to Cali, and
Nice, man.
yeah, it was incredible. It was a great experience. I did 3 years there, and was having a really good third year. And then middle of the 2019 season, I tore my Achilles, so that was a big setback. And
Oh
but
man.
yeah, that's a tough one, man. It's I mean, years back that could have been a career ender. That and the ACL are the two injuries that you really hate to see. But it made me stronger. I learned a lot, man. Holy cow! In that year of rehab, it really tested me mentally, and I have gratitude and I'm thankful for it. Now because I'm stronger. And but yeah, man, it was a tough one.
Yeah, man. I bet. Oh god. Who was your team as a kid? Who did you support?
I was a Bucks fan. Yeah, so I grew up in Clearwater, Florida, like Indian Rocks Beach, which is like 30 minutes south from Tampa. So I was a big Bucks fan. I remember uh, Tony Dungy and John Gruden then coming in and taking the team to the Super Bowl, and they had a lot of playmakers too. That team was really special. But when it comes to picking, because the funny thing was when it came, my final two was either the Chargers or the Bucks, and my parents knew this, and they're like,
Ooh,
celebrating. They're like, "Yes, he's coming back home."
dude.
Kind of just assumed that would be the case, and went to my room by myself. Just kind of spent 10 minutes to reflect, and came out and said, "Guys, I'm going to San Diego." they
Oh
they were
man,
super,
yes.
yeah, they
I've,
were
I've been to.
supportive.
Well, I've been up near Tampa.
Okay, what
Been
part?
up. I spent a day up in St. Pete's.
St. Pete, yeah. So St. Pete's 25 minutes from my hometown. You beach guy?
No, I'm from England. The beaches are shit. It's always raining. I went up there. I tell you where I went up St. Pete's. I took my kids to Disneyland. We got bored, so I took them up to St. Pete's because there's like a Dali museum. I was like, we got
Oh
to go
yeah,
see
yeah,
Dali.
yeah. I've been there.
That's cool, man.
It's
Oh
good
wow! So
art.
like, you had to turn around to your dad and say, "I'm not going to play for the Bucks. I'm gonna go out to California and play for San Diego." Did he come out for your first game anyway?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They came out for one of I think my last preseason game, and that was at least the first time being in California with me. So that was cool. Usually you have a day off after the game, so we kind of hung out and just went to the beach and
Nice.
kicked it. And that was actually in the year of the transition from San Diego to LA. So we did when I first signed, we had off season in San Diego, and then when we showed up to report for camp, we were actually in Costa Mesa in Orange County, but technically LA.
Well, listen, I know we got to talk about Bitcoin, but my producer told me you're a guitar player, and I want to know about that first.
Oh yeah, yeah. So actually played piano. That was my first instrument. I learned when I
Okay.
was in first grade. I think it was when my parents started taking me to lessons, and then in sixth grade, I I think my brother bought a guitar and tried for a couple weeks or a month, and just kind of left it to the corner, and I went and saw it and just picked it up and taught myself, and uh, actually created a band in sixth grade. Oh yeah,
Yes.
serious. We had
Nice.
a band. Me and the boys. We played at two birthday parties. We were kind of the big, we were a big deal for that. We had a waiting list. We couldn't guarantee that
Hold
we
on.
would appear or show up, but yeah, it was two
Sixth
songs,
what's
two
sixth grade? What's
songs.
that like? Is that like 12? Is that like 12 years old?
12
Sixth
years
grade?
old. 12 years old. Yeah,
12 years old, dude.
yeah. It's
What kind of shit were you playing?
dude. We meant to live by Switchfoot, and I think it went "Take Me Home When September Ends." I think that's a song by Green Day. Yeah, but we couldn't finish them.
Nice.
We didn't even have the outro. We just kind of fizzle out and just take the guitars off and say intermission, go in the pool, hang out, and then come back and start the next song. And that was the performance.
So you're a
Yeah,
punk, man.
yeah,
You're a punk rocker.
hardcore punk rocker at the time. So,
Are you a hardcore punk rocker?
oh, I have a lot of interests. I like all music. At one point, I was. I started listening to old school classic rock, and then it shifted to punk rock. I went to a couple concerts, but then
Like who?
I saw. Gosh, I'm trying to think now. I saw. In Tampa. It was gosh, it was an event where they had like over 100 bands there. I can't even remember the name of the
Oh, I
concert,
bet it
but
was it like
it was
Warp Tour or something?
Warp Tour. Yes, I was at Warp Tour. I would go there every
You were at
year.
Warp Tour.
Warp Tour. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
I
man,
tried to
who
stay
did you
away
see
from
at
the
Warp
mosh
Tour?
pits though. I was young. I was young.
Dude.
Even though I was big for my age, I probably could have went in there and held my
Could've
own, but I knew better. I knew better, yeah.
on the windmill.
Yeah, right. It's crazy, dude. Ambulance be coming in, and
Oh, fuck your shoes, man. Come on. We got a guest.
we got a guess.
We got a guest, man.
What up,
We got
Jack? How we doing,
What's up,
man?
brother?
Dude, what's up, bro? How we doing?
We're talking about Warp Tour. Oh, you can't hear him because I got fucking headphones on.
Yeah.
Take the headphone. What you
Jack,
say?
what's up, bro?
What's up, man? How are you, buddy?
Oh, I'm great, man. I'm great. Good to see you. Yeah, we were just
Good to see you
talking about
too.
Warp Tour.
I don't even know what that means,
Oh,
but hey, I know I've been a little busy off the grid, but congratulations, man. I'm super proud of you, and I'm really proud that I played a part in what you accomplished. You accomplished something huge, and happy for you and the family, and happy to play a role. So, congrats, dude.
Man, I appreciate that, man. For real. It was a special day, crazy week, and I'm excited just to, keep this thing going. But super, super grateful for just you and who you are as a person, man. It was a really special day, and I appreciate, your part in that.
Yeah, you're just getting started, man. I
Yeah.
believe that. I got a chance to have a pretty awesome phone call with you, and I wholeheartedly very bullish Sean just like as a man. And so, yeah, keep it up, dude. You got my full support. Absolutely.
Dude, Jack, you're the man. I appreciate you, bro.
how ridiculous is this man?
Crazy. And you guys are in El Salvador right now? I'm over here in LA just
Mhm.
talking. It's technology, man. It's cool. This is a cool moment.
Mm.
What do you guys got going
We're
on over there?
well. This is done, I'm gonna get Jack drunk, find out all his secrets, get him to make me a shareholder in Strike, take all his money,
I'm
all
like
his ideas.
Sean, I'm like 5'8", 150. So after like I'm that dude after like 4 White Claws, you're like, "Bro, you're as drunk as all the chicks, man. Figure it out." So,
Hey, those White Claws are sneaky,
hope
man. They're sneaky.
dude, no kidding. But
Yeah.
hopefully,
What
he
are
doesn't
White
bully
Claws?
on
I
me
I
too
hear
much.
about all this like on Twitter. People talk about White Claws. What the fuck are White Claws?
What's the technical term? The hard seltzer?
Hard
It's like,
seltzer. Peter, you never had a White Claw?
No, I just see people talking about White Claw on Twitter all the time. And in my mind, it's like I think it's like an alcoholic version of what's that really shitty low sugar soda that everyone drinks?
Oh,
Cans of soda. They're like it's like basically soda water with like a mild taste of a fruit.
LaCroix?
Yeah, I think is it like alcoholic liqueur?
pretty
Yeah.
much.
I actually think it tastes better
Yeah, I think
um,
so too. Yeah.
than a LaCroix. But yeah, it's I think from a product standpoint, it was attempting to accomplish the problem that girls want to drink, but also want to reduce calorie consumption and also aren't infatuated with the concept that beer actually tastes like shit, but we're gonna like find a way to enjoy it like a man. And there was like a huge market to deliver like a fruity good that was low in calorie and that still got like a tiny little white girl drunk. And
Dude,
that was the problem they initially tried to solve. And little did they know that I fucking hammer those things. So
I know you do, man. Do you
Yeah,
drink, Sean? You look like a whiskey drinking man.
I do like whiskey.
I
Um,
knew you would, man.
I've my girlfriend Zuri has got me on the wine train, man. I just crush red wine. Yeah. I saw you had a glass. Yeah.
Salud. Salud,
Yeah.
brother.
Cheers, man.
You don't drink
Yeah.
the like shitty American red wine though, do you?
California Reds. California has got some good wine. I think we're actually making a trip to Napa before the season starts, so I'm excited
You
for
need
that.
you need some of the Italian or French wine. You stop drinking
Yeah.
that American shit. Like I love
Okay.
America. I think America is brilliant at everything apart from red wine.
The red wine's terrible. Okay. Italian wine. I'll add it to the
Yeah,
list.
a Barolo or a Montepulciano. Like I'll take you out for that stuff. So listen, tell me about Sean.
just holistically.
Mm.
Well, so I don't know, Sean, what you've shared and what you want to share.
Well, I'm cussing him from distance because he's a big dude. I don't think I'd do it in person.
Um, no, the phone call I had with Sean was super special, learning about his family history, what drives him, motivates him, his story, a lot of the adversity. I mean, the fact that a lot of the media was on the receiving end of just some NFL player that made what seems to be like an illiterate financial decision couldn't be more wrong. Not only is it an accurate and forward thinking financial decision, but the adversity that this guy's gone through and what was supportive of his decision and the journey that led him there, I think is fascinating. I think it's a story worth telling. And I'm telling you, I'm not blowing smoke up anyone's ass. This is a stand-up guy who I am proud to be supporting in an effort to represent like humanity in a better light, I think. I mean, you're talking about a dude who plays for a boss who enjoys the title of an owner. That's fucking not. I mean, that's like slave language. And these guys, what CEO of a company or like developer of any business refers to themselves as an owner publicly and enforces that their employees define them as such. I mean, he established a sense of independence for the right reasons. He has everything correct. He thinks about things the correct way. And I evaluate Sean as just a stand-up dude. And yeah, I don't know. I'm happy to be associated with the guy's story. And I think he's just getting started based on what I know.
Sean,
I'm being dead serious too.
Sean, you don't need to cuss out your boss if he's still writing you checks. Like,
No, it's my job. But that's stupid, man.
yeah,
And
I know, man. I know.
yeah, and yeah, Sean, I'm trying to speak for him because I know there's a lot of things that go on in these athletes' head. And yeah, I think Sean is an impressive guy. And to think of all the people that could do what Sean did, it says a lot about him being the first, and he should get credit for that.
Right, Sean, let's talk about this because we hear about people getting involved in Bitcoin. Uh, they discover it, they maybe buy a few $1,000s, maybe put 2% of their net worth, 5%, and you just like bowl in, balls deep. You go, fuck this. I'm going to put 100% of my let's let's. It's a rounding error. It's $1 million salary. You just went, fuck it. I'm putting the whole thing in, right?
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you come in and like, I've not heard of you, and then you come in. It's like, I don't mean that like in a derogatory way. I'm British, so I know of like three sportsmen in America. Um, but you come in and you're like, fuck this, balls deep. My whole salary is going into Bitcoin. How do you get to that point? And it's a big question because I'm basically asking you to tell me how you discovered Bitcoin and then you went, I'm going to put all my salary in. How's that happen?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's two questions there, right? It's like, how did I come to the decision to go all in? And then how did I just discover Bitcoin? Um, you know, going all in, I just through the education and going down the rabbit hole and just, obtaining this level of conviction that I had, like weeks out, I had to ask myself, I'm like, you know, what would bring me more regret, not doing this and seeing Bitcoin rise as I suspect, or doing this and being wrong and losing a significant amount of money. And that answer was so clear to me because of just where I see this going and the opportunity to just do my part and just reassuring the like people that, I think people, it's easy to have fear and like FUD, right? Just like kind of scare them out of it, questioning themselves, having doubt. And I'm late to the game, compared to you guys, but like I look at this opportunity to reassure people that, man, Bitcoin is hope and it is traveling and people are becoming aware of it. And, at least personally, through my research, like I'm ready to do this and I don't really view it as a risky thing. I really don't. I think it's um, the more I think about it, the more rational it was to me. But I mean, I think when it came to looking at Bitcoin, I think it was very clear to me that we are going to a new system, and I think we're going to a digitized financial system, and everything is going to be digitized, and the coinization, right? If that's even a word, and just of assets and the future of crypto. And I think that we're going to see that happen at a rapid pace over the next decade. And the way I see it, my traditional portfolio of stocks, fixed income, and cash is the hedge. Bitcoin is no longer the hedge. And it took me a while to get there, but that's how I see it, going forward. Like, man, my hedge is what I already have. I want to be a part of the future. And I think that's where we're going.
When did you like take me back to when you first heard about Bitcoin? And then how long did it take you to go from okay, because a lot of us we hear it, we're like, what the fuck? This is like some made up bullshit. Like it doesn't mean anything. And then we go through the process and maybe we hear about it a couple of times or we buy some Bitcoin, whatever. we eventually get it, and then we get it. Like, ho how long was that period for you?
Yeah, yeah, it was longer than I wished, honestly, looking
Yeah,
back,
we all
right?
feel like
I
that.
think we all say that. I think it's important to kinda share a little bit that I got to share with Jack, on the phone call, but, for me, it really was my senior year at Mizzou, and at that point, I was fully immersed in finance. That was my major, and it was the first time in my life, um, where I had a level of passion and interest equal to what I had in football, and I ended up getting a highly competitive internship as this equity research analyst for this insurance firm. So between workouts, meetings, practices, class, I'd be working 30 plus hours a week, had my own Bloomberg terminal, geeking out on Excel spreadsheets. And, in that time, I was really grooming myself for Wall Street, and the demands over there if the NFL didn't work out. Like that was kind of the trajectory that I kind of foresaw, um, saw for myself. And then I came across blockchain and Bitcoin and it being created by this anonymous creator and quickly saw the beauty and, non-discretionary components of the network. And I thought it was very George Washington, of Satoshi to just be selfless and remain anonymous. And I recognized the store of value it offered and the fact its supply can be verified, I think is incredible. I don't know and didn't know at that time any asset that can say that. And Bitcoin is also so transparent just about its issuance. And the only asset that I knew to be similar was gold. But I saw it to be better and more attractive to future generations. And speaking of gold, like one of the big reasons I decided to major in finance was because of my dad. So he was super bullish on gold and shared his reasonings to me often. So unlike many people, I think that just take the norm as truth. Like I was exposed as an early age. At an early age, I was introduced to the flaws and problems associated to central banking. And unfortunately, all of this was happening 1 week before training camp. And, that's when we're going 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. for a month straight. And I had nothing invested and completely just forgot about Bitcoin for years. And it's unfortunate because I think the price of Bitcoin was $750 at the time. It was July 2016. um, and that's where, like kind of how I said earlier in this podcast, I had a decision like, am I going to pursue football or finance? And I didn't have that breakout collegiate career, but I knew I belonged. So I betted on myself and I was undrafted, always made the team, but I still had no skin in the game with Bitcoin. And I think that's huge in life too, right? It's like if you don't risk capital that you spent energy and time to attain on something, you won't personally be invested. And so as I would continue to learn about finance and economics in the off seasons over the years, I didn't put too much thought truly into Bitcoin. But the whole time, it would continue to show up in some article or headline. And I just saw this growing monster that just became bigger and bigger and just kept like poking at me like, hey, Sean, like, look at Bitcoin, look at Bitcoin. And still at this time, just through life events, I neglected it and would even have really good conversations in the locker room with Russell, Okung, and uh, just, I don't know what it was. I was trying to think about this. Like, why didn't I just invest money at that time? Right? Like, why didn't I feel compelled to just do what I did in December and then obviously now? And I don't know, but I came to this decision on my own time, which I think is special, right? Just thinking through for yourself and coming to this decision through your own doing. But in March 2020, that's when I realized I think the world, would be forever changed. And I thought previous models would become antiquated over time. And I was, finally looking to buy at home at a discount. I was ready, and that never came. So it made me think, how should I allocate my portfolio for what I expected to occur over the next decade? And at this time, though, I'm also fully immersed in rehab. I just came off the Achilles injury. I'm doing everything possible to get back into the league. I was telling my agent, telling teams no, I'm not ready. Super hard, challenging times. And finally got I had a workout and I told my agent, I'm like, you know what? I feel good. Shot me out. This is at 7 p.m. at night. Next morning I flew out to Baltimore. but then I'm sitting going through the whole year having to learn a new playbook, one of the more difficult playbooks I've ever had to learn in Baltimore in the middle of the season. So I have no time. I'm not reading any books. I'm not reading anything, you know, that pertains to anything finance or economics or Bitcoin. And I had an ankle injury that sidelined me for 5 weeks. And so I had a little bit more time. And I remember vividly sitting in the hot tub and being like, you know what, screw it. It was starting to run up at that point, and spent like an hour just kind of going over what I already kind of knew and just put some skin in the game. And from there, my life has changed. Like I only put I think like 5,000 in, and then I would just follow it daily and just fell in love with it, right? The rabbit hole, like as we all have, and just found the beauty and opportunity. And just through my level of conviction and education and interest, I started to question myself. I'm like, dude, why not get paid in Bitcoin? Russell did it. Why would I not? Like, why would I not?
What was it like in that locker room with Okung? Was he like the Bitcoin guy? Was everyone like, "What the fuck's going on with this guy?" Or was he like, was it a quiet thing? Was he trying to teach you all about it?
Russell just had a really contrarian mindset, right? That you knew if you were engaging in a conversation with him, it was going to be a good one, and you were going to learn something. You were going to leave that conversation being like, "Wow, I learned something new," whether I agree or not. And I respected that. So he never pushed it. Like he never came across as salesy and just like pushed it down our throats. But when it came to talking about investments, because we're making good money, we're investing our money. Like that's a common topic. Bitcoin would come up, and it's fascinating too to also see his growth along with that. I mean, this is what happens to Bitcoiners, right? His growth from the beginning conversations to now what I see on Twitter, and his level of growth. And it makes you think. And I think before, people viewed Bitcoin as this wrong stereotype, right? And it's just this, risky, super, um, for illegal money laundering and drug deals. And oh, you don't, it's not it's the complete opposite of what it's actually designed for, right? Like the egalitarian use that it provides. And I think when he first put his salary in it, that made a lot of people think, right? Like this is possible, and it takes one, and then it takes two, right? It makes why? Like the amount of people. One, I look at this situation like last week, the fact that it was covered like it was, I think means a lot to the sentiment of how people view Bitcoin, right? Like overall, it was super positive, and the irony too, and deciding how to release the statement, like where we're gonna use a bigger publication and agree to exclusivity. And but then from there, not every platform, apparently it's like harder for them to cover it. And we decided to go, hey, let's go smaller, have them agree to embargo, and let's just see, if it's if people find it valuable, it will be covered, right? And every single platform that said they won it without doing an exclusive deal on it, everyone covered it, which I think means a lot. Like if I would have done this 3 years ago, I think it would have been completely different response than how it was last week, right? And for me, I'm even more bullish.
Is there a lot of chatter amongst teammates and shit now? Like, I know Russ Okung was definitely like a visionary with this. Like, he was the first to really go balls deep in sports into Bitcoin. But like, are you finding now this is quite a common conversation? Are you talking about it with other players?
Yeah, it's definitely grown over time for sure. I think now, like since then, people have hit me up and they just want to know like what are the next steps, right? And the first
They
thing I'm
speak to
like,
our guy Jack.
yeah, right. Hit up Jack Mallers, man. Hit him up and educate yourself. Learn. Do your research. Like that's the one thing I hope to take away from what I did. Just if I can inspire one person to just spend an hour to research Bitcoin, because the people that you know just FUD like crazy and just are so dogmatic probably have spent an hour of their life total researching Bitcoin, and they came to the conclusion that it's a terrible investment. That makes no sense to me at all. So if I can inspire somebody to spend more time to decide for themselves, I think it's gonna grow. Like I think you're gonna see mass adoption. And as athletes, I think we have an opportunity, right? We have a platform. When people do it, the question, I've had more people hit me up and like, man, should I be doing this? Like, how do I do this? And I'm bullish, man. I'm excited.
It's I'm going to go back to the fact that it's 100%. That's pretty bold conviction, right? Because Bitcoin doesn't just go up in a straight line all the time, right? I know we're in a bull market, but it's pretty volatile. You got to have some pretty hardcore diamond hands to be holding through a multi-year situation.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, that's some pretty serious conviction, Sean.
Yeah, I don't know. I looked because I used to struggle with that. Like when I used to mess around and like day trade stocks, I've regretted every single sell I've ever made with a security. Every single sell. I don't think I've ever looked back and been like, "Yep, that was a good decision." I've always let my emotions dictate what I should do. So then, and besides just investing, just me and growing as a person, when I can get a hold of my emotions and detach and zoom out and look at the big picture, I also am looking at dips and corrections as opportunities. Like, why have we thought dips should instill fear? Like, unless there's material information that comes out that, man, the thesis has changed, move on, like with the security, right? Like, I look at it as opportunity and just look at the big picture. I see it growing. It's 200% a year. It's the first asset to ever reach $1 trillion in 12 years. Like I've been very frugal, with um, my money that I've made so far in the league. So I kind of looked at my forecasted expenses over the coming years and thought,
Fuck it.
man, like, yeah, fuck yeah, exactly, dude. Like, I can do this. I can do this. And I don't know, man. I looked at the numbers too, and it's so easy to go and look in hindsight, right? And be like, man, I should have done this. But I was crunching the numbers. And today I tweeted like my $12,000 signing bonus. And this is after taxes as well, would have been $250K.
$250,000, dude. I know.
Yeah, but I did it for my whole salary, just the base salary. And I didn't look at every single payday. I didn't want to go. I didn't go through like my old, because I've used so many. There's like ADP, now Dayforce. I couldn't even remember the login credentials. But I took the average Bitcoin price from August through December, through those years of 2017 through 2020, and I think that includes part of a bull, part of a bear, right? And I think league minimum before expenses, using 50% as taxes. Being out in Cali, man, state tax will get you. I think base salary in USD was like 950K over that time, and Bitcoin was over 7 million after taxes, 50%, and that's not including what those dollars would buy you, right? So, like, and there's definitely significant drawdowns during that time period, right? Probably during those periods, and that's what I know it's going to happen too. People are going to be like, "Oh, you idiot, man! Look at it. It's done. It's going to zero, man. It ain't going to zero. It's too big now." And I know what that does to the histogram, man. When you cut off the left tail, of the probability of it going to zero, what that does to the mean, right? Like, it's I don't know. For me, the narrative's just getting stronger, and I don't know. In your last podcast, like, will we have a typical, correction? And what Dan Held was saying, like, I don't. Who want to buy the tip right now? I don't know. I don't know what would happen, right? But like, it's different.
Um,
Co-host, co-host man,
Co-host
no, this is
Jack,
your show,
co-host
man.
Jack.
co-host today, co-host Jack. It's your show, man.
I'm not sure I have. I'll ask one because I'm put on the spot,
Yeah,
but then I'll let you guys do your thing. I'm curious, Sean. Uh, I think what you've done is bigger than football, and I think you know that. And yeah, like the initial interest will be about what it means for an NFL player following Russ. You graduated the stakes with the 100%, and that level of conviction is eye popping, and it demands research. But I want to hear, if I were the audience, I think I know the answer, but more so of your thoughts outside of football. And like, because I think the problem that you're trying to solve for has nothing to do with being in the NFL. I think everyone that has income that is not working capital to sustain a lifestyle needs to save. And I think you were very particular in your messaging, how you wanted this to be received, what success looked like for you in this. You didn't have to tell anyone, but you were very particular on what you wanted to say. And so I'd be curious to hear, bigger than football, like where you think humanity's trending and like how you were trying to be additive towards that narrative. I guess, if that makes any
Yeah,
sense, because
yeah,
that's what I appreciate about you most is you took a hard-earned platform through many injuries, and you were very particular with me on what you wanted to accomplish here. Um, and so that's what I hope that the audience can get from you is you're much more than a football player to me.
yeah, yeah. No, like you said, like, this is beyond football. Football was a platform, and it served this purpose. But yeah, I'm trying to inspire as many as people as possible. That it's all relative to one, your current financial situation, your risk parameters, but like, because people ask me, like, why don't you just buy Bitcoin? And obviously, my situation's is extreme, being 100%. But I'm like, man, I view it as a 401k. Like, take a certain allocation that you feel comfortable and don't need in the near term and deviate aside and wake up in 10, 15, 20 years and see the impact that'll have on your financial future. Like, for me, like, I think it's, I don't know. I mean, and this is something I'm starting to actually explore more. And I don't want to come across as like, man, this is, you know, I know everything and I'm completely backing this because I know what it would imply. And but, you know, from my understanding, like, after Reagan, trickle down economics doesn't always make it to the hands of the individuals that it's intended for. And when I look at Bitcoin, I see an algorithm that doesn't discriminate. You can be your own bank. And you also don't know who's benefiting most, right? Like, it's like, is it someone in Miami or California or England or El Salvador? It's open source, so anyone can open a node and join the consensus platform. And I think it can be a solution for shrinking the wealth gap too. Like, for marginalized communities, I think buying as many feasible sats as you can will go farther than buying fractional shares of stocks like Apple or Tesla or any growth stock at these valuations, right? And as I said before, like, I say that with caution because I want to really research that before I really back that with high conviction. Because I know, I don't want anyone listening to this to just be like, oh, all in on Bitcoin. But I really believe in that. Like, I truly believe that it's going to go beyond athletes. It's going to be adopted by people. And I also have this theory that, like, with how social media is right now and podcasts, like, I think people that have value added ideas will be heard regardless of the amount of power or money that they have. And the way ideas are disseminated to people, I think is different today. Before, it was so centralized and through large corporations that own most of the TV stations, newspapers, what's seen on the internet. They controlled the narrative. And I think, before, if you had an idea and didn't have power or a platform, it was hard for anyone to hear you. And here we are talking right now, and people are listening, and people have access to it. Friction is low, and they can decide for themselves. So I think with that, and Twitter, right? Like Twitter is huge, and it's only growing. Like I think if you continue to produce valuable content, it will spread to others, and I think that's going to be a huge catalyst and more people adopting Bitcoin. And you've already seen that last year with meme stocks, Reddit users, Wall Street bets. Like the retail investor is breaking the stereotype. We're not dumb, foolish people. Like we have ideas and often right. And shoot, I think for the first time, retail investors beat the institutions, in finding Bitcoin right now. I know I just kind of rambled and went on and answered more than what you just asked, Jack, but
No, but it's good. Feels like it. Feels like it's like the whole mid rabbit hole stuff. Like when you're flying down it and you're learning, and you're picking more up, and you're getting more conviction. It just sounds like you just you front loaded the conviction.
I don't know for me, and I'm just hoping others can just decide for themselves. But like for me, it was like if Bitcoin was the one, because like when I ask somebody, I'm like, man, if you had $1 million, where would you put it right now? And it depended on who you were talking to, but maybe an advisor would be like, well, it depends on, their current situation. We'd like to say diversified. I'm like, okay, no. I'm saying, what asset class right now do you trust? And if Bitcoin was the one asset that I was trying to accumulate the most of right now, and I believe that is also true for many other people. And every time I looked at my cash balance, I tried to divest. Like, why would I not get paid in the asset that is becoming increasingly more scarce while demand is also increasing? And that's a huge component in the way I'm thinking and analyzing opportunities. Because right now, I just think, where do we go from here? Like the boomers are retiring, and pension funds are reliant on stimulus injection, and you can't let rates rise. Yield curve control is going to be in effect. They're continue to buy long dated securities and bonds, and just adding more fuel to the already issue, right? It's like, I don't know. I think we're just like caught up in this inflection point. And that's why I said earlier, I think we're in the beginning, like in the next decade, we're going to see rapid change. Whether that's just crypto, like Bitcoin, obviously I'm Bitcoin bull, but just the whole DeFi space, like there's a change happening right now. And if you can't see it, like, man, I got to ask you why. And if you said you haven't spent more than an hour researching, it means nothing to me.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I'm not in on the whole DeFi thing. I don't think Strike's launching a DeFi platform, but I'm with you on the whole Bitcoin thing. But it's impressive the conviction just go like, I get it. Now I'm going 100%. That leap is huge, man.
I've saved, to at least buy me some time, my burn rate. I see that picture and where I'm at with that model in the worst case scenario, and I'm okay with volatility. I'm fine with that. If I have a big dip and the thesis remains the same, I'm buying. And like, this is something that I don't have to necessarily do in the near term because I've saved, at least like a little bit of time. But like, why sell? Like, why? Like, you can leverage it, you can collateralize it, you can, like the Michael Saylor strategy, right? I mean, it's. I think you're going to see more protocols develop, credit card systems where you can just remain that LTV ratio and let it ride, and know that the interest you're paying is being exceeded by Bitcoin, and basically live a tax-free lifestyle. I mean, I haven't figured out the ins and outs of that, but I know that I have one time through my own means to figure it out on my own, but also let it develop. And I think it's developing before our eyes. And I have zero plans. That's what people are like, what's the end game? I'm like, the end game is giving my passphrase to my code to my kids and being like, hey man, you are set. You are freaking set. And I was look at look at me. This sounds conceited. I'm a very humble guy, but look me up and see what your father did. And I'm assuming there's gonna be a time where people think I was crazy. The fine line of brilliance and crazy, right? You know? And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm cool with that though. I have an iron stomach, man, from football, man. Like after games, the same people that are glorifying you after winning the game are crushing you after a missed block or drop ball. Like I'm used to that. I'm not impacted in any way by people on Twitter.
I love your conviction. I think it's badass. It's great to hear. I love the fact you're working with my boy Jack here. It's a nice little bonus for him to like dip his head in and say hello, drop it in,
Is that a cue for me? Yeah, no, I
drop
already
it like it's
said
hot.
I'm proud of Sean and Strike's role in this. I really am. I'm going to war for Bitcoiners and for people like Sean. I got a heart of a lion, and I built my career around being supportive of leaders like him. I really view Sean as a leader. He's taken on a lot of flack. Who knows how teams are going to look at him? You know, potential locker room risk. Guys look at him weird. Bitcoin's going to dip. He may lose friends. He did this for the betterment of people that aren't himself. Those are qualities of a leader and of a great man and a man that pushes humanity forward. And I think he's trying to build a legacy. And he's hinted at how he views being a dad someday and growing up with the father he had. So yeah, these are qualities in a human being that I appreciate. So fuck yeah, man. Seriously.
Fuck yeah. Sean, I love it. I love your conviction. I think it's awesome. It's great to hear. I will try and get out, come watch you play. When I'm next in the US, maybe Jack will come with me. We'll go and see you play.
Yeah, man.
Go and try and understand the game a bit more. You know, we used to get 6 games in London a year that were pretty good.
Yeah, I played actually in one. I played in the
You
London
did?
game.
I've been
And
to a few.
man, I was disappointed.
Wembley?
Yeah, Wembley. I wanted to be there for so long. We played in uh Cleveland. And then instead of flying to London and spending the week there, we stayed for 5 days in Cleveland and then flew to London. So we were there for a whole
2 days.
48 hours.
Ugh,
And we had one day I went out, went to a pub, I made beer, fish and chips, and saw the London Bridge. And
you need more than 48 hours for that.
yeah, no, man, I need so much more, so much more. I'm trying to think what else I did. It wasn't much. Yeah, it was quick. It was like a half day. Came back, chilled, and then the day before the game, I just chilled like I typically do. Got a routine, got to
No,
stick to
no.
it.
Well, listen, I love it. I love your conviction. I love what you're doing. I love the fact you're working with my boy Jack here. I think it's awesome. And I appreciate you coming on my show to talk about it. It's You're a visionary, obviously, amongst your peers, and I think you're going to be talking to them a lot about Bitcoin. I'm interested to follow your Twitter, see if you go full Okung on us, because that'd be interesting. But look, dude, thanks for coming on my show, and just keep doing your thing. And if people want to follow you, tell them where on Twitter to find you.
So Twitter, Culkin22, Culkin22, Instagram, Culk80. But
Right, I'm going to stick that shit in the show notes, man. But from El Salvador, brother.
Peter, hey, appreciate the time, man. Thanks for having me. Jack, incredible surprise, man. Good to see you, brother. You guys enjoy
Good to see
tonight.
you
Don't
too.
stay, don't have too many White Claws, bro. Keep it at 4, right?
I won't. I don't want any. We'll see what he's up to. But also to help you hopefully sleep better at night, the amount of DMs I'm getting from NFL players are out of this world.
Let's
And
go.
there's a correlation
Let's
to your
go.
announcement. So
Let's go.
if that means anything to you, buddy, yeah, absolutely.
Dude, I'm hyped. I
I've
love
only,
hearing
I've only
that.
got I've got DMs of one NFL player. This guy here. It's my only one, man. Fucking this kid. All right, Sean, love it, bro. Hopefully we can hook up. We can have a whiskey at some point. We can
That'd
talk
be
about some
great.
hardcore, hang out, man. Appreciate what you're doing. Appreciate you coming on the show.
Hey, thanks again,
Keep
man. It's been a
rocking.
blast.
And you, man. And I hope this Bitcoin investment crushes it for you, dude.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be good. I'm excited. So appreciate the time again.